Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Here in this phenomenal race, Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 34, round number 9 for the top tier on PlayStation. And we head to the second longest track on the F1 calendar. It's the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, a track which is 6.174 kilometres. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me in the commentary box once again is Mr. James Head. James, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, Jess. Of course, Jeddah being the second longest track on the F1 calendar. Hopefully some good action to come tonight. But, of course, have to look at the championship standings because everything is all tied coming into tonight.
Yeah, so we may as well talk about the results from last week as well, because quite a lot of things have changed quite a bit from Belgium last week. Jay Van Bussel kept his race victory from Bradders, 1.3 seconds. Kian got a 5-second penalty added on. So did Ryder, and Wiener got 10 seconds added on to his race time. But he's no longer going to be racing in the league due to his poor internet connection. So he's no longer going to be racing with us, but that is a bit of a shame. But Jay Van Bussel delivered when it counted, and he got 16 points to his name.
He did, and now, as a result of that, he's only, 5 points off the top two. Bradders and Marcadors currently filling out. Bradders, by the way, leading because he's had most wins and most second places so far this season. Marcadors has only had 1 win, 1 second place, whereas Bradders has had 2 wins, 2 second places. Even though they might be tied, they're not. Yeah, Jerry Van Bussel, though, in third on 52, really came alive, I've got to say, last week. I mean, his form coming into last week was, 14th and 11th. And then he delivers a brilliant performance like that in Belgium. This track was made for him as well last season because he won the championship here in PSF2 last season as well. So he knows already how to try and win a race around here as well as wrap up a championship. And I think that's going to set him up in good stead, potentially for tonight as well.
Yes, and some other drivers have done very well last week. Sam Gamer finished in 3rd place, got himself on the podium, and surely he would have liked to have got a race victory. Marlon gets a decent points in 6th. Keane, what could have been, I think, for him in P7, but he's still got plenty of races still to go before the championship wraps up. 4 rounds, of course. We've got Jeddah tonight, we've got Mexico next week, and then we got 2 more rounds still yet to be announced, and I'm intrigued to find out how that's going to go. But what does that do with the championship standings? Like you were saying, Bradders and Marcados tied on points, but Bradders getting more second places means that he's leading the championship over Marcados. Van Bussel a few points behind them in 3rd on 52 points, and we got Keane in 4th on 34. We just got pretty much 2 different groups, haven't we? We've got the top 3 that are running away with it. Then we've got the likes of Keane, Cadil, Sam Gamer, Black Box, Ryan, Aurelian. They're all in their own little group.
Not to be dishonest to all of these drivers out on track, I think the top 3 are pretty much in Formula 1 right now, and the rest of the field, from 4th downwards, which I've got to say is very close all the way down to 8th, are pretty much in Formula 1.5. I think it comes to show, regardless as well, the consistency that we've seen this season, or the lack of consistency from these drivers. We've seen Bradders put in some good results, Marcados put in some good results. He's probably the 4-man coming into tonight as well. But the likes of Jerry Van Bussel, the likes of Bradders, 12th position, of course, in Imola 2 weeks ago, 11th position for Marcados 2 weeks ago as well. They filled out 1st and 2nd positions, of course, last week. Marcados, of course, finished out 4th, and it was Jerry Van Bussel, of course, that took the win. I got slightly confused there in terms of the results, but yeah, Kian, Kazizel, Sam Gamer, Blackbox, Ryan, and Aurelian all covered by what is that, a hair's breadth, 8 points, I think, between them. So close coming in tonight, and not only that, the constructors as well. We haven't really looked at the constructors so far, but Ferrari, 70 points. Mercedes, 69. Alpine, 63. 7 points in the Constructors, all to play for.
Yes, definitely all to play for here tonight. But let's have a look, actually, at the track map, updated track map as well. 6.174 kilometres, 3.836 miles, 27 turns, and we've got 3 DRS zones. Very powerful. And obviously they removed the one at the final corner because otherwise there would have been some DRS chicken going on there as well. But Sam Gamer is on a lap currently as he heads towards turn number 1. Very fast flowing. That corner, hugged the inside curve a little bit as you head towards turn 2 and 3, which is a fast left kink. Tricky left-hander coming up that has a late apex and bumpy service. Another fast right-hander coming up through there as well. Kind of acts as a triple right-hander as well. We've seen quite a few drivers invalidate through here as well. And luckily, no problem for Sam Gamer, who finished 3rd last week as well. And heading towards the start of set to 2. Very, very technical as you head towards, I can't remember what corner it is. There's so many corners around this circuit, 27 corners in total. Just about avoids the wall there as well. DRS will be activated soon once more. I think there's 2 DRS zones that follow each other. So I wonder if DRS chicken could be played at a different corner than you might expect. Oh, he was a bit squirmy there on the entry, but he keeps the car together. Very committed through there. Goes Sam Gamer in the final sector. Heading past in and towards the final few corners of turn 23, 4, and then 5, 6, and 7, well 27. Headed towards the start, finish straight out was the corner where we saw plenty of cars go off in PSF1 last season, which I don't think I attended because I was on holiday. 1:26.0 for Sam Gamer as he's the first driver to get his time on the board.
Yeah, fantastic lap. Actually now better though by Keane, goes 2 tenths quicker than him. 25.8 though. Even quicker than what we were seeing on the last game cycle. That is how quick these guys are, and these cars are, of course, out on track as well. I'm just trying to flick on with somebody that is of interest. Markedos is. He's coming in toward the left-hander of turns 26 and 27. Key and Sam Gamer Brothers, the top 3. By the time I say that sentence, though, it will probably all change. As there, we see Sam Gamer Brothers still remaining 2nd and 3rd. But Markedos looking to try and trouble the front 3 right now as Volakonga now goes 3rd. But Markedos now on the run towards the line. Maybe going 2nd, I think, with this lap. And he does. 25.994. 700s clear there of Sam Gamer there in 3rd. Volakonga in 4th. A few invalidations on the lap as well. Yossi invalid. Max invalid. Marlon also invalid. However, he's actually picked it up once again, coming through the final couple of corners at turn 27, looking very snaky, I've got to say. The Red Bull on the run towards the line, but it's Keane, Markedos and Sam Gamer currently filling out your top 3, and Marlon in the end only 13th. Unlucky for some, maybe Marlon will try and think of something to as the session goes on. Everything, of course, is still all to play for as Max there going in front of the lap, but he's invalidated again on his next run.
I'm a bit gutted about Max's performances this season because he was your season 33 champion. He pretty much dominated the season. It got wrapped up pretty much at the start of the Brazil race last season, and all chaos broke loose as well. But he just hasn't found his feet this season. I mean, there's some races where he performed well, but he just doesn't have that confidence. Maybe the F123 game has not suited his taste, which is a bit of a shame for Max, but he's got a lot of work to do, and you never know. He can improve going to this. He wasn't actually the one who won last season around Jeddah. Last season, it was Tom that won in Jeddah, and it was Aurelian and Volakonga in the top 3, and pretty much all 3 of them are racing tonight. Pretty much could be the favourites going into this, but don't forget this is a new game cycle, and there's quite a few different characteristics around this track, which is different compared to the last game. Glad they updated it as well with the updated curves, because there were some bits that were not realistic. Luckily, with the removal of some of the DRS zones, it made it more realistic as well. But there's some parts that are a lot easier due to the contact model, but there's some parts where it's just a lot more difficult.
Yeah, definitely so. Nando, I'm just picking up on a lap as well, fresh from his race win in Singapore last Tuesday, as he now comes through the final corner of turn 27. The Portuguese man looking to try and get toward the line. He said he was looking forward to being interviewed by me once again this week, but let's see what Nando could do in terms of this lap. 9th position, certainly not getting an interview from me in qualifying, at least, with a 26.241. Keane, though, out on top. Markedos in 2nd, Sam Gamer in 3rd. The first lap times are pretty much done, apart from the man who, of course, won around around here with a 59.4 in the middle sector. Is Shazoo Tom, the Haas, on the run toward the left-hander of turn 27. And of course, back in season 30, remember, Marcus Soriano took the win around here in what was Luke Etheridge's penultimate commentary on console, which I've got to say is very much thought about, and I wish he would return to PSGL one day or another, as Tom there goes 13, 26.298, but it's Kian, Markle, Sam Gamer currently your top three. 10 minutes to go, plenty of runs still left, as Jensen's now the first man to come out onto his second run.
I think Jeddah always has a place in my heart. I remember in season 30, I commentated on PCF2 and absolutely loved it with Chris Buxton at the time, and there was just great battles there, and it always makes it a great track for league racing. I always dread Jeddah when it comes to the real life F1 calendar, but when we go to league racing, it's brilliant. But some races on this game around Jeddah, there were some questions about the driving standards, but hopefully the driving standards will be improved here. We did question it in Qatar, but then we ended up getting a good race, and the driving standards were fantastic. So hopefully we'll get something similar here at the moment, as we've got a lot of people on their outlaps currently. Borak hopes a clean race for him, and his main rivals, again, it's the consistency for him and himself. A lot of drivers have been saying that their rivals have been themselves as well going into this, which is quite interesting. Aurelian, well, we're definitely going to get a lobby restart because we've already got our first illegal blocking and we haven't even gone into the middle of qualifying yet.
Yeah, that's through the middle sectors. I'm not surprised, to be honest, coming through the middle sectors. There's an absolute car park coming through turn number 13 as well in sector 1. Just to correct myself, actually, on something that I said a little bit earlier, Kian now picked up the illegal blocking penalty. We are definitely going to get a restart at the end of qualifying, which means good things because we've got our notes prepared, which means we can go through a hell of a lot more in terms of giving you guys facts and everything. So that'll be very much hunky-dory, as Jensen is going to be the first man to come up on his second run. Just to correct myself on something that I said earlier, I said Mubarak wasn't here there in the chat.
He is.
He's there down in 20th position.
Qualifying
ban. Yeah, qualifying ban, which I just totally read through the steward reports without even looking. So yeah, Mubarak down in 20th position. Steward reports saying, of course, in terms of him, he's basically on a final warning. It is now literally boom or bust from Mubarak. Of course, you're not going to be seeing him out on track. You are going to be seeing, though, Jensen on this run, coming to the right-hander now of turn number 5, and then through very much the trickiest part of the track, through 6, 7, and 8, then through the right-hander of turn number 9, but the Saudi Eye on the right-hand side has been now come past the Al Jumeirah Hotel on the right-hand side, into the left-hander of turn number 13, a 31.5. Jensen looking very shaky in that first sector.
Yep, it is. He doesn't look that confident compared to everybody else around this lap as well. I'm going to try and make the track map a bit bigger as well on my screen, because I can barely read it as he heads towards the middle set. DRS detection point then as he heads towards 20, 21 and 22 coming up then as well, as he's using a lot of that curve to go and measure as well. A lot of yellow flags are around him, but there's just people moving out the way. I'm trying to remember actually where Jensen last finished around there. I do remember he didn't do too well around here last season, but again, redemption for him as he's looking to improve on his season as he heads towards the final corner. And luckily he did go to the wall like we saw Max Verstappen did in 2021 as Jensen comes up to the line. And that is P15 for Jensen. Not the best of laps for him. Max is in the middle of his lap as well. Yossi's about to head towards turn 27. We've got a few more drivers crossing the line. Kian, I think, is still improving as he heads towards the end of the first sector. But let's watch Yossi then, who come for the back of the field before last week to finish well. Can he finish well this week? It's a P10 for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, picked up actually the race win for Juventus Racing in the other league that I commentate for. I'm now not going to name them, but you probably know which one it is. And he obviously, in that team event, won around here in Saudi Arabia. So Yossi has got good form around here. He has been a little bit... Oh, and actually, he's gone in the wall. That is absolutely strange as anything. He has hit an invisible wall coming out through turn number 4 and 5.
That was weird.
I cannot believe what I've just witnessed.
And I was still on board with that as well. I was very shocked when he hit that. I think that is something I'm going to be reporting after this race, definitely, because hopefully the drivers will miss that when they go on their laps, as Keane goes fastest with a 125.6, so he means business. I think we could see 125.4s as the pole time, but let us know in the chat what you think is going to be getting pole position. 75th different venue to join the Formula 1 calendar, which is quite a lot, of course, as well. It was going to be held, I think, at Derry, the same track as the Formula E race, but it wasn't a Grade 2 circuit. I believe they're still getting applications in to be a Grade 1 circuit, because that's what they have to be in Formula 1. I'm just trying to remember the recommendations for that. But maybe whilst we wait for the lobby to restart, I will tell you a bit more about that and do some research. But Nando is on the middle of his one now. He likes night races, and he's hoping to carry on his night race form, just like we saw Fernando Alonso do in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia this year, and like we saw Tom did last season over at PSGL. Tom didn't do enough to win the title that season because he was involved in the contact in Brazil at the end of last season, and that's what lost him the title. But Nando, he goes up to the line. P7, that's not too shabby for him. Anyone else on the lap time? We've got Tom, who had invalidated, so he's going to take no further part in this part, but he's going to go again later on.
Yeah, second runs are pretty much done, I think, now. Tom being the exception, obviously, with that invalid lap time. He probably would be setting a quicker lap. I think he's about 600s up in that middle sector. But yeah, Keen out on top. Already 3/10 quicker, by the way, or nearly 3/10 quicker than the F2 pole time, which was a 25.9 flat by NLR Erpec in the Williams. And I believe they're still going on in F2. They're right at the nitty-gritty, as I like to call it, right at the final few laps of the race there. Keen out on top. Sam game in second, Marco doesn't. What were you saying, sorry, Jess?
Stay with us, though. Sorry.
Exactly, stay with us. Have it on a dual monitor setup. That's what I would do. Max, by the way, into the pit lane. Nando there, P7. Very respectful lap, I've got to say. Found that 10th of a second. Very much so coming through the final corners. And Nando really putting that lap together. Mr. Den saying there in the chat, P6 to P16, less than 200th of a second in Q1. It's not Q1. It's only an 18 minutes worth qualifying. So this is now a game for these guys out on track to try and deliver. They only get, of course, the limited runs. They can get around this track in qualifying. Around 4 runs you can get normally in a Q1 scenario. Obviously, with it being a full 18-minute qualifying, you will get potentially drivers going for 4 runs. If not, they will go average 3 runs and then try and save potentially a banker run a little bit later on in the session. But it's Keen out on top. Sam game in second. Marco's there in third. We're seeing Nando trundling into the pit lane with no fuel at about 100 miles an hour. But we are going to get action back out on track because I believe the Ferrari of Volakongan, who was a podium sitter around here, of course, last season, he's coming out on track first.
Volakongan is usually the driver that likes to go for crazy strategies. Usually either stays out longer or goes and pits earlier than expected. So he is a driver that wants to be different from the norm, but quite a lot of the time that helps him a little bit, like we saw last season in the likes of China too, and we saw that with the Sabre Singapore with Marlon. And I think it's one of those tracks where we could see some crazy strategies. I think it's also where we could see a lot of safety cars. We saw a safety car at the beginning of F2 earlier on, if you were watching that. So as Volakongan not meant to get that grid penalty, but again, we will get a lobby restart very shortly anyway. But we'll see what Volakongan does at the start of his lap very soon. It's the calm before the storm, James. I literally don't know who's going to get the pole. We've seen it come down to the wire before. I'm never expecting Jeddah to be this close because it is quite a long track, 27 corners, but I think just quite a few people seem to like this track, but quite a few people seem to hate it. It's not a Marmite track. It's just kind of like, eh, or you love it, really, to be honest. But I know certain drivers that definitely hate it.
Yeah, it's a bit like my relationship with Nutella. You either love it or you hate it. And I, for sure, definitely hate Nutella. And don't actually. I absolutely love this track to commentate on. To drive around, it's a bit naff, I've got to be honest. But Keen out on top, Sam Gamer in second, Marco's there in third. Jensen's going to be the first to go up on his final run, 26.327. Currently for the man sitting there in P18, and to be honest, Kean all the way down to Marlon is only covered by less than 0.8 of a second, so that is very close for PS standards around here, and I can actually guarantee you by the end of this qualifying session, as Brad has picked up another illegal blocking penalty for 5 seconds. I can guarantee you there will be a hell of a lot closer in terms of qualifying come the end of this session. Hopefully with a lot of valid laps to come as well. As Jensen is on the way on his lap, coming through the left-hander turn number 4, through the right-hander now of turn number 5, the fastest part of the track pretty much now, coming through the technical part of the track, I should say, through the turn 8 and then through the right-hander turn 9. Al Jamara Hotel on the right-hand side as he comes out of 10-11. That was much neater from Jensen on his run, and that is backed up by a big first sector, 31.3. Not purple in the first sector, but looking very, very good indeed as he now comes through the final couple of corners in towards this middle sector. It's Keen out on top, it's Sam Gamer in second, it's Marcos there in third, Sam and Volakongan just end up on laps along with Francesco Largo, and Jensen hitting the wall there, coming to the right-hand return number 16, just will degrade some speed coming down the long straight. The DRS zone, of course, fixed compared to the last game. It's fixed on this end towards the left-hander at turn 22, and Jensen 500s up. That little nick of the wall and that run out and that hard hit into the wall as well ruins his lap, and he's out of the session.
Yeah, and that just slight touch of the curb as well can catch the drivers out, but we are seeing people about to finish their runs then as the checker flag is about to drop in 3, 2, 1. The checker flag has dropped. We are seeing the first lap times finish up then for these drivers as Volakonga will be the first to cross the line. Can he get himself onto the front row? No, he stayed in 6th place. What about the two Hatties? Let's see what they could do. Tom slots himself in a 2P6. We've got one of the Red Bulls on a run. Marlock only managed 19th then. Sam Gamer, who slots himself into P1. Where is Kian at the moment in the middle sector? He's around about 2 tenths down, so he is struggling a little bit. So I think we're going to cast the right Jerry Van Bussel, who's in 4th. Marcados is about a few 100ths up, purple in the middle sector. Could it be on for pole position? Stefano, a few 100ths up, so he's improving as well. Nando is 3 tenths up as well. There's a lot of people finding improvements. Bradders, by the way, goes up to the line. He slots himself into P5. I thought he would have got pole position, personally. Marcados P3. What about... no, it's not P3. Yeah, it is P3. He stays P3. I thought it was him crossing the line, but no, it was actually his teammate at the moment. Black Box sitting in a P14. Is that going to stay there? Well, only time will tell. 129.59 for Black Box. And that is it then for qualifying. A lot of improvements from a lot of drivers, but not significant to get the pole position time. But you never know, so we're going to get pole to the death, and we didn't even see it. But it is Sam Gamer, who is on pole by just under a tenth of a second. Then we got Kian, Marcados, Nando, Aurelian, Jerry Van Bussel, Bradders, Ryder Dow, Black Box, Stefano, Max, Cazidal, Tom, Volakonga, Francesco, who's filling in for Louis tonight, Ryan, Yossi, Jensen, Marlon, and Morborak. And interesting qualifying session. 8 tenths of a second separating the top 19.
Yeah, definitely so. Sam Gamer obviously out on top. Kian there in second. I've got to be honest, Nando had a huge final sector in him. He was 3.5 tenths up coming through the middle sector. I think you failed to catch it on the camera. I was on board with him, and he was flying the Portuguese man there in 4th position. Very good lap time from him. Of course, everyone with illegal blocking penalties do now, of course, go over to the race, so that doesn't actually transit over to the race. All gets removed, all gets done, and I've got to be honest, it is all for pleasure. And of course, GT Omega, our title sponsors, I will just point to the lovely product that I've got in the background as well. You can get 5% off at checkout for all GT Omega products. If there was 5% off the PSGL products, I think people would be absolutely going mad on this community.
Yeah, and speaking of GT and Mega, James, I think we should have a quick word from them, a little advert. So here's our title sponsor, GT Mega. We'll see you in 30 seconds. Welcome back to PSGL Season 34, Round 9 at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. lobby restart due to illegal blockings, which seems to be a thing on this game. It's a question of when rather than if, really. But don't worry, still got lots of facts, still got lots of driver swaps to go on, so we are prepared for the eventuality, because you never know, it could happen anyway. But great qualifier from Sam Gamer. He finished third in Belgium last week, and he's yet to pick up a win, I believe. So can this be his week?
It could be. It could be. And to be honest, I think Sam Gamer, so far in the season, has shown some very good performances. Even though he hasn't had the credit for it, he's had some really good performances. I mean, we saw in Britain his performance there. Absolutely phenomenal in terms of his performance there. And looking through, I mean, in terms of the standings, where he is at the minute, he's 6th position. Third place in Britain, 2nd in Austria, 3rd last week in Belgium. He has got good form this season. It's just the matter of consistency, I think. Not only for him, but the majority of our drivers, it has been lacking in terms of consistency. Whether that's down to driving standards or whether that's down to just drivers being drivers at the end of the day, you can argue that for yourselves in the chat. But Bradders, Marcados, Jerry Van Boss, the top 3, they look to be the 3 that could take forward towards the championship play. But Sam Gamer, obviously out-qualifying Keen, out-qualifying Marcados, that is going to bring him a hell of a lot of confidence coming into the race here. Of course, the 20-odd laps, 25 laps, I think, that we've got here in Jeddah.
Yeah, so we got 4 more rounds still to go, and Sam Gamer, technically, still could win this title. It is not over yet. Pretty much a lot of these drivers could still win this title. The closest F1 championship I've ever commentated on, really, because usually sometimes it tends to wrap up at the penultimate round of the season, but I think I'm going to predict it right now. We could have a countback situation, and I've commentated on a countback situation before, and it was absolutely crazy. It was hard to figure out the maths, and it was decided when there was someone that got the fastest lap, and then that stilled the top of the standings for someone else, which was kind of interesting, not gonna lie. But yeah, let's look at a few driver thoughts then. Francesco said he wants to have a clean race and maybe get some points, but he didn't have much time to practice and he feels like his pace is decent as well. Stefano said it's not looking good for tonight, but hopefully some luck will get him through this race. The Wolves are really close though to the track, so he's hoping for some points. And we got Morporak, who pretty much wants a clean race, as I was saying earlier. Ryan thinks it's a bit of a lottery, this track. You can either win a lot or lose a lot, which is quite an interesting analogy, I have to say, and I have to agree with that, because when I race around Jeddah, I either have a really good race or a really bad race.
Yeah, same as me. I've actually not raced Jeddah on this game, luckily, and I don't think I'm going to be touching Jeddah for weeks to come if I've got a league race there or not. But what I find interesting in the driver's thoughts, you really get some personal things, and Stefano's one. I looked at this a little bit earlier and thought, he has really gone to it in terms of mentality. He, in question 4 of our driver thoughts, we do this every week, by the way, we ask the drivers questions in the chat. He, in response to, with it being close to the end of the season, who do you think your rivals are in terms of positions you want to claim in this championship? Stefano actually mentioned himself. He mentioned, obviously I want to be higher in the championship, but my rival right now is me, and I need to change that very quickly. And that is absolutely open and honest, I think, when it comes to a driver. These guys get put in pressure situations week in and week out, and I don't think they deserve credit half the time for the actual pressure and the actual performance that they try and put in. Stefano being one, he's had a wretched season so far. Yeah. And if he can try and just even get one thing right tonight, that will go a hell of a long way, I think, to seeing him progress forward, seeing him progress through. And of course, with him in qualifying being in P10, sets him up quite well. He's out-qualified Max, out-qualified Kazizel, out-qualified last season's race winner, of course, in Tom. That will fill him up with a lot of confidence going forward.
Yeah, because it's a different game. Some people that may have performed well in Jeddah last season may have not done well this season. We do have all the drivers ready to go. We're just waiting for you, James, to join the lobby, and then we can get started. But yeah, don't worry, you didn't know about it until I told you. So you are forgiven. You are forgiven. Believe it or not, tonight, top speeds at Jeddah Street Circuit, 322 kilometres an hour, and the average speed, 250 kilometres an hour. The only other faster circuit, Monza on the current calendar, which is where the real-life drivers were a couple of weeks ago, and it was quite interesting, actually, not gonna lie, but the F2s were even more crazy, I have to say, so I do not want to talk about that as well. Other interesting facts as well. Fernando Alonso, 100th podium finish of his Formula 1 career at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which is a really great stat there, but still hasn't picked up his 33rd win. Could that happen? We'll have to wait and see, of course. And the hairpin of turn 13 features 12 degrees of banking, and it's less steep than the banking at Zandvoort. I didn't even know that was a banking, so that was what I learnt when I was doing my notes today, so that was kind of interesting as well. But Jensen very kindly is setting up the grid for the race, so hopefully we should be getting going soon. But in the chat, guys, let us know your thoughts on who you think is going to win the race.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts indeed. Let me know as well who you're predicting potentially to cause the first safety car, because it is just going to happen. We all know it is going to happen in terms of the safety car around this track, especially with the walls being so close. Everyone just piling in towards turn 1 and 2. You are going to get a safety car whether you're like it or not around here. I'd be very, very surprised if not. Drivers, by the way, already up. Jensen's done quick work in terms of getting the lobby all reset and everything. Iron there saying in the chat, go to PSGL, of course, back in the day. Hope you're all doing well, my friend. It has been a long, long time since I've seen that name there in the chat. And Timon is asking in the chat, what's our Facebook Marketplace? I've never heard of Facebook Marketplace, have you? And I don't think we're allowed to actually promote products apart from... Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to promote products apart from PSGL and GCMA on this.
Yeah, due to contract regulations where we could only promote GT Omega, and also the gloves as well, which is sponsored for on the PC F1 stream. That's what we could only promote, because otherwise we'll get told off. But 5% off GT Omega's products, by the way, using the code PSGL at checkout. Click the link in the description, or type !GT Omega in the chat, which will get a little bit more of a plug when we go to the race in just a few moments time as well. And yeah, I think I know Timon was actually joking about the Facebook Marketplace, but yeah, I didn't even know it existed. So yeah. And Iron says, thank you for the shout out. No problem. And I think it was the first person I met back in the day when I first commentated for PSGL. So there we go. So that was an interesting fact there. But we're about to get going, of course, for this race. And just a quick reminder, actually, of the track. Oh, I don't know what happened with my Discord. Just bear with me. A lot of things going on at the moment. But anyway, this is the track map once again. 6.174 kilometers, 27 turns, 3.836 miles, and 3 DRS detection points, which I think could get very chaotic. And 27 turns designed by Helmut Tilk himself. And from what I've seen from the F2 race, it was quite intense, and I think we could get a really intense race in PSF1 as well.
Yeah, definitely so. People are trying to promote my OnlyFans. I don't have one, put it that way, and I don't intend on getting one either. But there we are. Yeah, in terms of the actual on-track action that we're going to be getting very soon, it is, of course, going to be really interesting. Of course, with Sam Gamer out on top, Kian there in second, Marco's there in third. It's going to be really close, I think, racing out on track tonight. Drivers have been told to ready up, I believe, at 35. If not, we are going to be getting going very soon indeed. But that means, of course, our drivers can now prepare themselves fully for the racing and in terms of the actual on-track action. And Jensen mentioned in the chat, apparently it's set to realistic, and it says apparently it's sun. I don't see any sun on our screen, so I think that might be on their screen, which is, I think, very, very strange indeed.
We'll keep an eye on the chat, and if we have to restart again, then we will have to restart again and have more stuff we have to talk about. But again, we'll be hopefully prepared for that one. But we can see on our end nighttime, so I think we're all good. But we'll just have to hopefully double check that it's not sunny, because that will be a bad look on the league, I have to say. It was like this at the start of the game, but luckily they had a patch to fix that. I remember Bahrain when it was not that dark at all, which was quite weird. We had to run it at midnight, I believe, as well. But yeah, as what time is it now? We've got 1 minute before the drivers can ready up. Their setups they've got to change as well, because it's a new lobby as well. They do get fresh soft tyres, because if there's a safety car at the end, they got those disposals. Interestingly, if they go for the start on the soft potentially and then go on to the hards, We've seen that in other divisions and in other tiers in PSGL history as well. And Evan Dalton saying in the chat, as a commentator, I think I speak for us all when I say we love restarts. We're kind of used to them. I'm not a big fan, but I think we could predict them at this point.
Definitely so, definitely so. I love restarts because I can just waffle on for England, me. So you will be in brilliant company, I've got to say, in terms of if we do get a restart. Hopefully we don't. Iron's saying in the chat as well, if there's a free space, get him in. We can invite him in. Maybe he can be the back marker for tonight. Or maybe even Virtual Bert Marlander. Who knows? Timon's saying as well, he prefers 6 restarts in F4. And F4 did have 6 restarts last week, by the way, which is why he's saying it there in the chat. But we are good to go. And the 5 red lights are now coming on, Jess.
Here we go, 5 red lights are on at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Kian in right-hand side, Sam Gamer on the left, and Sam Gamer gets a really good start as we head towards turn 1 at Jeddah, and Volakongan, not the best to start in the background, but look at already, he's already gained 1 place up already. He's got the podium last time out in Jeddah, and we've got a crash. We got a crash. Stefano Cazidlo is out of this race. Volakongan got 5-second penalty due to that, and we've got a safety car, a replica of what we saw in F2.
Yeah, we have indeed. We've got left side end plate damage as well. I'm just trying to figure out what happened. There was a hard hit into the wall because Zizzle certainly out of that. May have got sideways coming out of turn number 1 and 2. I didn't really see that from the camera angle because it flashed by so quick. Saw that happen in the melee in the background. Mubarak certainly got caught up in that. So did Marlon. So did Volakongan. Volakongan in the end, I'm not sure if he's got damage, but he certainly has got a 5-second penalty for a collision. And that was, I'm just going to check race director very quickly indeed, because this is leaving in utter frustration.
Stefano.
With Stefano, yes. Stefano already out of the race, and that probably was down more to ghosting system than anything else. But a safety car already, it was bound to happen. I said this right at the start of the stream as well, that a safety car was bound to happen, and it has. However, though, very interesting in terms of the strategy, because we were expecting, like F2, to be having the top guys on the set of soft compound tyre. Most of the guys haven't. Most of the guys have decided to go set of hard compound tyres because this wasn't a set of softs, but he's now out of the race. Yossi, Tom, and Radadal are the exceptions rather than the rule, and they are on set of soft compound tyres, and that is unfortunate for them because the safety car doesn't do them any favours in the longer term.
I'm surprised, actually, James, that why most people are not come in, because usually in certain situations, they've got 2 7 medium stints at disposal. They could just do 2 medium stints to the end of the race. But some people may prefer the hards and maybe just want track position. And I know around Jeddah, track position is very key anyway. But yeah, I thought more people would come in onto a set of mediums. But boy, was I wrong. But there are 2 drivers that came in. Jensen, Marlon, Yossi, and Volakongan on a set of the mediums. Obviously, a lot of these guys have gone for front wing damage, but it could benefit them in the long run. Moborat on the mediums too. Let's see how far they climb up on the order. Pit lane lost time around it, 18 seconds, and it's about a 4 tenths difference between each tyre. So between the mediums and the hards, around 4 tenths quicker, but between the softs and the mediums, 4 tenths slower. Softs, by the way, could last 12 laps. I'm not entirely sure about the optimal pace. I will have to do my research on that very, very shortly. But it's Sam Gamer still out on top. Kian in second, Markados in third, but Aurelian definitely showing what he's made of it today, using that turret effectively. Could be on the cusp of getting one of his best results in this league so far in season 34. And Jeddah could be the place to do it.
Yeah, of course, and he was on the podium, of course, last season, along with Volakongan and along with Tom as well. And obviously Volakongan being down at the back of the field, down in 18th position, not going to suit him very well indeed. I have asked in the chat, by the way, what caused the contact. Our camera angles can only go so far, by the way, in terms of the coverage that we get. So it's best to ask the guys out on track that were involved in the collision. Sam Gamer and Kian and Markados currently in the top 3. Position gains, by the way, early on, quite a few further down the field. Tom gaining 2, Francesco gaining 3, Ryan gaining 3, then Jensen, Marlon and Mubarak gaining 4. Everyone else has either gained a lost position further up. Aurelian has got a position gain. Brad has a position gain. That's for overtakes on Jerry and Nando in the early stages of the race. And obviously as well, Volakongan with that contact has lost 4 positions, the most lost out on track so far. But Sam Gamer out on top, Keenan second, Markados 7th, third. We are under safety car right now. And Kazizzle saying in the chat, you may as well become a commentator. You're not coming for my job, Kazizzle.
You're not coming for my job either, because I've been doing it for so long. But Would like to hear Kai actually in the commentary box at one point, maybe as a guest potentially in the future, because he has the voice for it. So you never know. We could see you, but of course a lot of these drivers have competed in challenges in the past as well. We still don't know what's going to be happening with F1 esports this year. So if you're wondering what's happening, we don't even know. So we are going to know the same time as you are, basically, as well. But it'll be interesting to see how F1 esports goes and whether certain challenges drivers will pick up the last few spots in those seats as well, because they are selling up like hotcakes at the moment. And yeah, Khalil might take up on that offer very, very soon. So keep an eye out, James. He may take your job.
He may take my job. Well, I commentate on his first ever league race, so if he wants to, if it's like a passing of the torch motion and I quit commentary for one or other reasons, which I probably won't, but if I do, because this will be my chosen man, because it'll be like passing the torch to a younger me, I guess. But some game round on top, Keenan second, Markadov's there in third. We are under safety car conditions. However, good news for everyone, safety car is going to be coming in this lap, which means everyone is going to be back at the racing speed very soon, which means hopefully we get like an F2 restart like they had under the safety car. They had a few more, I believe, in the second half of the race as well. But with the first safety car restart they had phenomenal overtaking and some really good battling out on track. So let's hope these guys have been doing their homework and been taking the notes from the F2 guys.
Yes, and a second chance for us to get the start a little bit better as well. But I have to say, the night races around here, the graphics look absolutely incredible. So well done to the guys at Codemaster EA for doing that. Has a safety car, as James was saying, comes in this lap. Sam Gamer is a virtual Mylander at this situation. And Alexander Albon doing very well in real life this season. But Sam Gamer, of course, currently sitting in the middle half of the championship in P6. 33 points. His best result was in Austria, a P2. Is looking to do one better and score a P1 to his name. So let's get the tyres up. Just a quick reminder what everyone is on. The top 7 on the hards. We've got Ryder down, Tom looking to gain positions early on the soft. And then we've got the guys that have damage all decide to go in on the south, the mediums. Past turn 27 then. Let's see when Sam Gamer is going to go. He's not going to give people too much for toe. And we are going racing for the second time tonight. A much better start from a lot of the guys. Markados trying to get those seat into those tyres. Ryder Dow trying to go up the inside in towards turn number 2. But to no avail as Nando covers him off very, very nicely indeed. And this is where we saw a pile up in real life a few years ago. But looks like they got away A-OK. It's a little bit cleaner than what we saw on lap 1. And there's a high probability that we could get some more safety cars. But Sam Gamer still out on top. Kian in second. Markados in third. Ryder out was the only one on those software gained massively. Tom not so much. Let's see if he can try and go for a move on black box in towards the sector 2 split. Nope, he doesn't. I think he's going to stay behind for now, but I think he's not going to give up that easy.
Yeah, I was on board with it there. It's actually side by side between Jensen and Ryan in the background. The shot Jensen through on Ryan. The hard's not working early on, so Jensen through and he's into 13th. And also Marlon and Yossi going side by side as well. Yossi now nips back into the system to try and get it. Tom I was on board with. There was not a hash-shaped gap coming up the inside at turn number 13. Put it that way. He's just going to wait his turn on the back of Black Box. He's looking very good indeed in terms of this racing. Trazu against PSR. How have I seen that one before as well? Radadal is coming on the back of Nando to the inside line in towards turn number 27. The McLaren up the inside line on Nando. The Portuguese man locks up his rear brakes and that is Radadal through and he's into 5th. Very easily done. Nando does get the toe out of the corner though. Tom and Black Box are side by side once again coming out through the final corner on the run toward the line and he might get a double toe. May even be 3 wide and towards turn number 1. Brace yourselves for this one. Tom to the inside line on the Red Bull. Surely not to the inside line. The AlphaTauri, sorry, Black Box backs off and Tom does get that job done. How on earth you can get a move done like that? Take some commitment, take some cojones. Tom Fooney's in tonight. Brilliant racing.
Tom likes this track. He won last season in season 33 and he's definitely showing that he can climb up through the field on those soft compound tyres. And he's loving life. And his next target is Jay Van Bussel. And with those tyres lasting a lot longer than some other tracks with this tyre compound, it should be easy pickings for him, but you never know with this grid. As Ryan trying to go side by side at the start of set
Beautiful.
2, and that was absolutely beautiful from the Hash driver. Both Hash drivers making some brave moves, and we think, nah, you can't make an overtake there. But you can, as we can see, I think one of the Alpines trying to go for the move on one of the other Hash drivers of Ryan once more. Yossi gets position back, and he could get past Marlon as well sooner or later as we head towards this final sector. James, there's just so much going on.
There is so much going on. We need to take power to Marcos is right on the back of Keen for second as well. Looks to the outside line in towards turn 27. The Mercedes tries to get all the way around the outside, nearly hemmed in towards the wall. So close to contact between the McLaren and the Mercedes. And now we go hell for leather once again in towards turn 1. Keen, though, pulls away, coming on the exit of the final corner, and will hang on for second for now. But Marcos, trying as he might, the German on the back of the Dutchman, trying to really find and really fight as Volokongan is through on Mubarak. Mubarak keeping his nose clean. He is on his final warning here in PSGL. He's there down in 18th position, trying to keep the nose clean. If I was in his shoes right now, I'd be going like Max, side by side, in towards turn number 4. Fire on Black Box! Brilliant stuff. How on earth they pepped it out the wall there, I do not know. It's testament to these drivers. Max Thuney's into 10, Black Box 11. It's lap 6 out of 25. And we're pretty much getting lap 25 out of 25 standards of racing. Brilliant stuff.
They're giving it everything, haven't they? And to be fair, Belgium was quite entertaining as well last week, and PSF won, one of the closest I've ever seen as well. And to be honest, they've just been practicing for dear life. But obviously there's certain situations where they can't control if they're involved in incidents that are not their fault. But when they're trying to do some overtakes, they're learning the lessons from lap 1 and only going as they see fit. But people will be like, nah, I want to take those risks. Tom could take another risk soon as well. He's about 3 tenths behind Bradders. I think I just saw Ryan lost the place to Marlon then. So Ryan struggling on those hard compound tyres in the background because you know what? He's sandwiched against a lot of the medium runners. The highest medium runner, by the way, Jensen up to 12th. So good comeback from him. Volokongan trying to get past
Beautiful.
Ryan, and we also got Yossi on Francesco as well. Yossi up to 13th. We got a battle for the lead. Kian to the inside, and he takes the lead on lap 7 of 25.
Yeah, these guys are making it work, making us work, certainly in terms of the cameras, as Black Box is Jensen are side by side through turn 1 and 2. Oh, how I'd like to see this one play off, and Black Box gets the job done on Jensen. Great move by Black Box through, and he's in for 11th position. These guys are giving absolutely everything, as you mentioned, Jess, out on track. It's phenomenal stuff. Jensen there on the back of Black Box still, but Kian there leading the way. Is he now beginning to try and find a little bit of time? The worst place you've got to be around this track is P1. You do not want to be first position around this track, especially onto the final few laps of the race. Well, on lap 7 and 25, it's a perfect opportunity now for Kian to get his skates on, pretty much like Torvald and Dean in the 1986 Winter Olympics when they won gold. And Kian needs to get his skates on, maybe get outside of DRS range to Sam Gamer, and then Sam and Marcos, therefore, are on the back foot, and everyone else is playing for time in behind.
I think the only time you want to be P1 is if you've got a big gap. So, yes, I agree with you, James. If you get a big gap, as there's lots of moves going on
He made a mistake
in the background, and he's lost a bit of time, and that's allowing Marcos back in the frame as well, as we head towards 5, 26, and 27 then. No DRS to contend with, so they're going to just stay behind for now in this tight hairpin of turn 27. Marcos going to get into slipstream, maybe Sam Gamer as well, but I think Marcos will be trying to get Sam on this lap, heading towards turn number 1. Is he going to go right or left? Nope, he stays behind, so Sam managing to hold him due to the downforce he's got on this car. I thought James Redding would have took advantage of that.
Yeah, he's sitting in 4th position. There's battles up and down the field, by the way. Volokongan and Marlon are now side by side in towards turn 4 and 5, and Marlon just about stays ahead there. And Volokongan nearly loses the car like Mal did in F2 at that part of the track. But Barak there side by side with him as well, keeps his nose clean, still no contact. Brilliant racing between them all. Good recovery for Marlon there. But yeah, Kian leading the way. Aurelian could have taken full advantage, but what I think he's doing is saving on that ERS. It is more important to have ERS and DRS towards the end of the race than it is to actually use it up in the forefront of the race as well. So Aurelian there in 4th. Everyone you'll notice in terms of the ERS, we've got Kian on 76, Sam Gamer on 89%, Marcos on 75%, and Aurelian on 87%. They're all hanging on to that battery, and it's because, like Mr. Dens has put in the chat, it's the worst track to be P1 around here, and they're recognising that for later on in the race.
Worst track for fuel as well, and ERS usage, because you use up a lot due to it being a high speed. If you think Monster is crazy, welcome Jeddah, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of batteries. So I think with the management, it's going to be interesting to say the least. It's Brothers, by the way, up one position as he's got past Ryder now on the set of the hard. So one of the softs are running out very quickly. He's got the battle for the lead once again. Sam Gamer takes it, but we're going to watch Brothers as he tries to defend from Ryder. I believe he's got the fastest lap of the race as well on those hards. So he's absolutely going crazy to try and get his positions back. Francesco getting past Vola Congan once more.
No way.
Can he keep it? It's going to be side by side to make a bit of contact, but they just about
How?
hold it. Amazing stuff between the Williams versus the Ferrari. I can't remember when was the last time we saw Williams versus Ferrari going side by side with each other as well. I think this was back in the 1990s as well. In 97 between Villeneuve and Schumacher as well. Obviously, we saw that in PSF1 as well with Mirko Suriano and Ismail Fassi as well. Both of them doing very well in PCF2. So there we go. Interesting PSF1 fact. Mirko Suriano and Ismail Fassi fighting with each other. And definitely some memorable battles that we will probably remember for some long times to come. So, yeah, great stuff. Definite replicas there. And obviously, Francesco, this is his second race in the league. And he's learning the ropes. Remember, it took Markados many races in the first season of PSF1 for him to get him into good shape. And obviously, look where he is now, fighting for the lead this race, James.
He is. He's trying to go around the outside as well on Keane coming to the final corner. Bit of a slide. There's contact on that. Oh, there's huge collision. Huge collision in the background. Red Bull involved, Max involved, Tom involved as well. Not sure who else got caught up in that. I think that all spawned from maybe Jerry Van Bussel and whoever he was alongside. Now, I'm not sure who that was. Everyone's coming into the pit lane. So I'll now have a look on the stream in terms of that. It was Jerry Van Bussel going side by side with Tom, I think, and then it's collected Max. That's what I'm assuming has happened. We didn't have the great camera angles on that, so the POV is going to be so important from that. But Sam Gamer, Keane, Marcos and Rallian, they've all missed the pits. Everyone has now come in the pit lane and behind, which means Sam Gamer, Keane, Marcos and Rallian, they are honestly done for now because they're not going to get the opportunity to come into the race and they're going to be dropping right down to the back of the field.
Then the only way they could go back in this one is if they have another safety car and they could put on the serves off. But yeah, the safety car just came at the wrong time because if I were them, I think I would have boxed. But again, they have no other choice. So yeah, I think the opportunity for any of the top four to get this race victory remains undone. So we're on for your net race order. Yours, interestingly, has gone for a set of halves, which I don't think was the right decision. The mediums can run comfortably to the end of this race. I've done it before in career mode. But Nando is your net race leader, ladies and gentlemen. His last best result was a P3 in Bahrain. And when was that? A night race. So he's a night race specialist on this game. And he's looking to get his first win pretty much ever in PSF1. I'm trying to remember. He might have won last season, or you might have got close to it. I'll need to double check the standings. And we've got Brothers in a net P2. That is really good in terms of his championship chances as well because he's leading on combat and he can increase the gap because the likes of Markados not being able to pit yet. Ryder down in net P3. Ryder down's only 15th in the championship. If he finishes third tonight, he could climb way up the standings and still be in the championship fight going into Mexico. And then we've got the likes of Jensen as well. He's back in this. I think Jensen, James, is probably the biggest beneficiary out of all of this because he got screwed earlier on. But now he could just plough on until the end of this race and potentially get on with some decent points.
Well, they're now going to be in the lead of the race because the front four are in. Front four are into the pit lane. I was expecting Yossi to come back in the pit lane because he was on a set of, I think it was softs at the start of the race, and he might have actually done potentially the best strategy of them all. Yeah, he was on softs, then transitioned to mediums, and then transitioned to a set of hard. So he's came in, made 2 stops, and he's in 6th. He's probably the biggest beneficiary out of them all right now. But everyone now dropping towards the back end of the field. We've got Jerry Van Bussel into the pit lane. And by the way, in terms of what I can gather from that instant, it's Jerry Van Bussel who was spun, coming through the final corner. Tom has then collected them into the back. Max has collected them into the back. And then Max saying in the chat, the 6th race in a row I went into a car that got spun, which inevitably points to Jerry Van Bussel, who spun. Tom, unfortunately, being the innocent party and all that as well. Both Max and Tom, you've got a feel for Jerry Van Bussel down in 16th. Will the stewards lean on that a little bit aggressively in terms of their penalties? Potentially, but if the footage can be proved and Jerry Van Bussel lost it by himself, there is nothing you can do, even with that cut-like reactions like most of these guys have.
And it was hard to see as well. It kind of reminds me of the cautions that we got in IndyCar last night. And I'm not going to spoil things too much, but let's just say at Laguna Seca, there was quite a lot of things that happened in that final corner. Probably the similar tightness of what we saw in Jeddah, to be honest, but a lot worse. So, yeah, not going to spoil things too much again, but yeah, absolutely chaos. As we are waiting for the likes of Van Bussel to catch up to the field. Everyone has done their mandatory, so they can get to the end of this race if they want to. And safety cars should be in this lap as well. So we've had 2 safety cars so far, but this time it will be the Aston Martin of Nando who'll be leading the field away, trying to emulate a lot of Aston Martin drivers at PSGL that came before him. Don't forget a few seasons where they were Racing Point as well in the pink car, and Force India back in the day as well. PSGL, by the way, has been going for 34 seasons. 34 seasons! And we're still going, which is absolutely amazing. And we just hit 40k subscribers the other day. And believe it or not, we're not that far off from 41k subs. So if you haven't already, like this video, hit that bell if you're new, and subscribe as well. But if you are chatting, you're probably subscribed anyway. But anyway, final corner they go. And I believe Nando has decided to go earlier than what we saw Sam Gamer do earlier on, so he's keen to get a pedal to the metal, I have to say, as they head towards turn number 1. And I think one of the house drivers of Ryan has got a good start as well. Let's see what Jeds could do heading towards turn 1 and 2. No harm done for him as he stays behind. And there's a lot of drivers that are just looking to take less risks at the moment and wait to the DRS straight to get some moves. But you never know, you could see some moves ASAP as well. I think Ryan could be the first one of those.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's probably going to happen with Marlon, Ryan, that sort of cluster that we've got in the mid-pack. Phenomenal restart by all, very, very clean out on track. Nando there leading from Brothers in second, Ryder down third. No position gains, no position losses from that restart. Exactly what you want a restart to now happen. And what now happens in this race is for the drivers to focus. They have got to really now focus on themselves. One car makes a mistake in front of you, that is your chance to really grab the bull by the horns, basically go for the move and not think second chance about it. Even though we've still got, 95% of ERS for Yossi there, Nando on 55%. They're using up their battery towards the front end of the field, and this is really getting forward, I think. Nando doing a fantastic job though out in front, trying to reclaim his form here in PSGL. Of course, he's won an F2, hasn't actually won an F1 this season. And in Legacy Division, in the other league, of course, he won in Singapore by 9.5 seconds. So he is very much a fan of street tracks right now. They'll be hoping for more of the same. Bradders there in second. Ryder down Thursday. Fly across the line once again with Bradders. New fastest lap race, even quicker than Nando. Ryan again, though, on the back of Marlon. Don't think it's going to happen in towards turn number 1. No, but Marlon very late on the brakes, and there's contact actually between Francesco Largo and Marlon. Just a bit of a slight tap, gets away with it, but Francesco and Marlon counter their lucky stars. There wasn't more contact there.
Yeah, I think one of them definitely backed off. It looked like that on the cameras, even though the cameras are not the best at times. So, but Francesco was another one that benefited from the safety car, and he's in the points so far, could be on for some more points, and he benefited from the stewards penalties. He got his first points at PSGL in his first debut race in PSF1, which was great to see, so well done to Francesco Largo. Hopefully the sign of things to come, and like we saw with the likes of George Russell and Mick Schumacher, if you get your first points in one race, it's probably like a blessing in disguise that you could get it in the next race to come as well, and people may not think about it too much as well. But I have to say, Yossi is doing really well on those hard tyres in 6th place. Managing to keep the likes of Ola Congan and Francesco behind as well.
Oh, what a move.
We thought he would drop like stoners. Sam,
no!
Sam Gamer and Ryan made contact. They dropped to the back of the field, and Sam's day has gone from great to bad because obviously the safety car, and to worse because he's now last.
He is. Ryan's got no front wing, I believe, in all of that collision as well. He had 90% of the move done. It's just the secondary contact that has occurred between himself and Ryan that has actually forced him in. Markados, who obviously was in the front four, he's in pit lane as well with no front wing, so he was caught up in that as well. And unfortunately, Sam Gamer is actually the one that's got away with scot-free from that, which I think is so fortunate for him, not fortunate for Markados and Ryan. Contact could have been avoided. Was it audacious by Sam Gamer? Yes. He was pretty much halfway down the straight and even trying to attempt to go for that move. He had the ERS on quite late. There are things that could have been better, I think, with that. Sam Gamer had 90% of the move done. Markados there 15th, Ryan and 16th. They're just the unfortunate parties and all that. Contact could and should have been avoided. Sam Gamer might be sending a trip to the stewards. However, his audaciousness for that move, as I say, 90% of that was done. Just the curve, I think, caught Ryan out.
And with unlucky mistakes that Markados made, it was pretty much he was an innocent bystander, and it could affect his championship chances. He was leading, pretty much joint leading with Bradders as well going into this. But now, if Bradders stays where he is, and he is going to be taking the lead from Nando as he heads towards turn 27, maybe a mistake there because Nando's going to gain the DRS. But if things stay as they are, Bradders will have a really healthy lead heading into the next round, round number 10 in Mexico, which should be very, very exciting. Mexico races are always very, very fun to watch. I usually do quite well in Mexico races that I race at as well. It's a nice track for my driving style as we head past in towards turn 3 and 4, past the Ferris wheel as well. A common tradition for Helmut Tilk tracks as well. As people were asking what the poll was, James just put it in the chat, 125.5 from Sam Gamer, 3/10 quicker than F2. So there we go. Usually F2 beats us with their poll times, but not this week. And it just goes to show how much they put into this as well. But yeah, Bradders still leads from Nando. That overtaking towards turn 27 did work for him after all.
Yeah, definitely so. Markados' brother, by the way, is in the chat, and I can assume by that emoji that he's used, he is very angry with what has happened with his brother out on track there in 16th position. He cannot catch a fly, Markados, at this point in terms of his luck this season. He's been all over the place. When he's good, he's very good. But when he gets unlucky, he's very unlucky. And that speaks potentially for half of the field this season as well. Nando, though, is going to go for the race lead once again on the back of Bradders. The Portuguese man now comes to the inside line of the Brit, the sole Pro Exhibition driver, of course, going forward as well. The sole qualifier from Pro Exhibition is Bradders, but Nando there taking the race lead. And the Aston Martin, in my Aston Martin t-shirt now, leading the way from the Alpine in second, the McLaren of Rydal there in third. I swear I'm not giving Nando good luck whatsoever. He might not need luck because Bradders right on the back of him once again is the perfect place to be. And if I was Bradders right now, off and locking towards turn 1, what I would do now, if I was him, save up the ERS and attack him 2 laps to go and then make the bid for glory.
Reminder, you do not want to be P1 in any point of this race. Ideally, you want to be P1 heading towards penultimate corner, and that's where you really made your move. You never know, we could have a photo finish as we saw someone go off, and that was, I think, Jensen and Blackbox almost having coming together. Yossi, by the way, gets Blackbox, so it was Blackbox the AlphaTauri that had a moment, but how on earth he survived that, I don't know. It just goes to show his car control was really, really good indeed, but still getting some decent points is Blackbox as well. So many contenders for driver of the day here as well on lap 16 as well. These tyres can get to the end. By the way, Ryan has pitted onto a set of sauce which could get to the end. Markados has pitted on a set of the sauce. Sam Gamer obviously got away lucky there, so he stays out. But I wonder if he'll pit again for a set of sauce, maybe for the fastest lap to try and steal it from some drivers inside the top 10. You won't get the point if you're outside it, but you can steal it from making sure anyone else doesn't get it. But anyway, meanwhile, Kian tries to go into the right-hand side of Francesco Larga, heading towards turn 27. Nice move done as he tries to get on a comeback. Good comeback, if I do say so myself, in P8. As we got some moves in the background for the lead, potentially on Bradders. No, not quite. Saber Rydal as well, not able to get past. So, yeah, it's going to be tight throughout the final third of this race. And literally anybody in this DRS trade from first down to 13th can still win this one. Even Jerry Van Bussel.
even Jerry Van Bussel, some gamer could as well, but he's 7.5 seconds behind. He's well out of contention now. Unless we get another safety car in this race, which around a track like Jeddah is not too far away. As soon as I said that, Keane dropped a position. Keane's dropped another position. He's made a mistake, same place as Blackbox. And speaking of the Alpha Tower, he's rallying to the inside line in towards turn 13 as well, taking full advantage on Mubarak. Gets through, and he's into 11th. He's one position shy of the point scoring positions. Remember, 16, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 are the top 10 positions paid here in PSGL. Nando out on top from Brothers in second, Rodadal there in third. And basically, if you're 11th and downwards, you're not going to be getting any points by the end of tonight as well. It's a very weird point system, but it works, and I think it creates a lot closer racing, a lot closer championship battles as well. But Nando there leading, Brothers in second, Rodadal there in third. Still with this battle though, with Blackbox closing in on the back of Yossi very quickly indeed to the outside line in towards turn 27, and there's contact ahead because Jensen has ran right into the back of Rodadal. So unlucky. Jensen, left side plate damage on the car. He'll be coming in the pit lane. He's actually continuing on, which I think fair play to him is probably the best way to do, as now Blackbox and Yossi are side by side in towards turn 1. Tries to go all the way around the outside. The Alpha Tauri looks at the inside line for 2. Yossi now hemmed out to dry, and Blackbox surely going to get this job done. He does, nearly forcing him in toward the wall. Jensen's got no steer in terms of that left side end plate damage on his car. He's down to 7th. Volakonga now coming through into 6th. Great racing though between Blackbox and Yossi. That's how it's done.
Well, I have to say, there was just so much going on. It was hard to keep up. But, yeah, I think and there was another driver today and this season that has also got bad luck as well as Markados, and that is Jensen. And I think Jensen has had even more bad luck as Francesco even gets past him. So if I were him, I would pit for set of the soft tyres as Jensen goes off again. So, yeah, I think he's probably going to give up, which is a bit of a shame for Jensen. Obviously, last week he had to miss the race due to him having food poisoning. And then this week he could probably end up with time for the race and score 0 points as well, which is not ideal. But he's still got a few more rounds to prove himself in this division, because for some people, they could be fighting for the championship. For certain drivers, they could be thinking, right, I've got to fight my place to keep in PSF1, because otherwise there could be drivers in F2 that will definitely be quick enough to take your spot. Bradders on the other hand, looks like he's going to get the lead again from Nando, but Nando got to get in the straight line speed once again. But I think Bradders knows that he doesn't want to be fair, so he's potentially not going to go for it in towards turn number 1. He's probably going to do what you said and wait until potentially the final lap.
Yeah, he definitely will. He definitely will. He's just trying to eye up potentially an opportunity. If Nando has got a weakness, it's probably a straight line speed right now, because as we've been alluding to throughout this race, you do not want to be P1 around this track. Through the corners, Nando is on fire through the first sector. He pulls 6-7 tenths out on the back of Bradders, and he's doing that again, flicking through the left-hander there, but he's made a slight mistake, I've got to be honest there, Nando coming through. It's 6 tenths of a second coming in toward the left-hander of turn 13. Bradders there, not well and truly not on the back foot. He's there in second, he's in the race, he's got 90% of ERS as well, compared to Nando on 67%, so that's 20% more advantage in terms of ERS for Bradders than Nando at this stage. Rodadal there in third, 64% of ERS, so he's a little bit down on what Bradders is saving. Bradders looks to be the one to win this race. I'm going to throw a cat amongst the pigeons and say Yossi has still got a chance of winning this race there in 5th. He has really came under the pressure, I think, tonight in terms of his performance. He's made 2 pit stops. He's there from a set of mediums to a set of hards. The only one in the top 5 on the set of hards. And by the way, these tyres are going to come online around about now. So Yossi is only going to be getting quicker and quicker and quicker in this race. And the Swiss man wants to try and get a bit of Swiss chocolate down him. The Lindt man is going to try and get the roller on in towards turn number 1. That doesn't really make sense. But Volakonga is side by side with them. Regardless, the Ferrari on the back there of the Alpine. And the Alpine, the Swiss man, stays in P5 and is very late on the brakes, but remains as we are. Jerry Van Bossel and a rally in a side by side slightly there through turn 1.
I think this is a track where you do not want to be late on the brakes because the curbs could be absolutely deadly, but these guys handle it very, very well, and we could see a battle for the win that could go on for many laps to come. Well, lap 20 of 25, Nando still leads from Bradders in P2. Ryder still in P3, but he's got Blackbox and Yossi behind him as well. And bearing in mind the optimal pace is coming down roundabout now from the mediums, and the optimal pace is coming up for the hard tyres. So yes, Yossi will probably try and do his best to get past these top four to potentially win this one. Or maybe he's just aiming for a podium. I'm trying to remember what he said, if he said anything in the driver force. I don't think he said driver force this week. Probably a blessing in disguise, I think, for Yossi. But surely his expectations wouldn't be winning the race. Surely it would have just been points for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, most of the time he has said points would really do him in, I think. And Yossi certainly in for P5, maybe even a little bit higher. We're rallying on the back of Kian as well further down the field. This is for the final point scoring positions out on track. Is it going to look towards the outside line? No, rallying remains as they are. Probably in the same party together. That's why they don't want to attempt to move. Speaking of attempting for a move, though, here's Bradders for the race lead. Down the inside line, in towards turn number 1. And that is Bradders through and into the race lead. And do you know what? It's going to be now hunting time at the inn here with Ryder and Black Box side by side as well through turn number 1. Black Box to the inside line, getting the elbows out again. The AlphaTauri now through turn number 3 in toward the left hand of turn number 4. This is where we saw Volokong go side by side earlier on, and they just about make it through that 2x2. Do not want to go side by side through here. Nando's nearly in the wall in the foreground as well. Ryder and Black Box is still side by side. That was inevitable. Contact happened. Black Box, to be fair, though, has kept that going. He keeps it on the inside line of Volokongan and retakes the place. It is marvellous stuff from Black Box. Great recovery. And in the end, hardly any contact. No one's in the wall. Brilliant racing. Brilliant recovery. Hands off. Hats off to every single driver that avoided that as well. As soon as I was saying that, there's contact.
I was about to say, James, Francesco was doing so well. Safety car as Volokonga's out the race. But yeah, Francesco was running in a decent position, P6, and then he just spun. So I think does that count as a commentator's curse? Probably it has,
yes,
because I thought about it before I even said it. But yeah, safety car is deployed. Now that is going to be interesting. It brings people like Aurelian and Kian back into this as well. Yossi, I think, is probably absolutely gutted that a safety car's come out, because if there wasn't, he probably had a chance potentially getting onto the podium. But let's see if any of the drivers go on to softs or they want to stay out. Track position versus softs. Well, they got some softs saved because obviously it's a lobby restart. Unsurprisingly, everybody is coming in into the pit lane, apart from Mubarak, who's wanted to go on the mediums as all. J-Van Bustle hits already in the pit lane, but I think they got away with that.
I think they did get away with that, but that is inspired from Mubarak, and that is also inspired from Sam Gamer, who was also staying out. So two guys, arguably Mubarak was down in P18 at the start of the race. He's now in P1. Sam Gamer, who was P1 at the start of this race, is now P2. How fortunes can change in this race. Now, I'm not saying they're going to remain that way, P1 and P2, by golly, I don't think they will, because Bradders, Nando and Radadel are going to be so much quicker than them. I think they're just going to be eaten up quite literally. But Mubarak and Sam Gamer, if there's one thing to try and get points and one thing to try and get a result of that race, it is to do that. You have got to have, again, real balls of steel. I'm just going to say it, balls of steel, I think, to make a decision like that from Mubarak and Sam Gamer. They're further down the field. They haven't been in contention. Sam Gamer, yes, he has in the first half of the race before that contact. Mubarak there as well, further down the field. He's on his last warning. He's got to go for boom or bust, and that's what they have done. Mubarak and Sam Gamer have laid all the cards on the table. They're going for a royal flush. They want to try and now flush out the opposition.
Yes, I always love brave strategies. I always like someone just doing something which is outside of the norm as well. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't, and they potentially do not have long to go until the safety car pretty much comes in, because we only got a few laps to go this race. I think we won't have any DRS because Ryan and Markados still going to be catching up to them as well. Still chances for everybody to get some points. It is a clean slate. No drivers are pit penalties as well in terms of track limits, so it's even Stevens. If Mubarak and Sam Gamer can hold this field up and win this race and get a 1-2, that could be really, really good. However, I think there could be a lot of drivers that can be a bit frustrated that they can't get past, especially due to the fact that the soft tyres are 4/10 quicker than the medium tyres. That's what it says on my data, and that's what I'm going to have to go with. It says we're on lap 23 of 25. We've got 3 laps to go. It is going to come in at the end of this lap, I think. Otherwise, I'm going to probably eat my hat. But I don't know who's going to win this one. I'm not going to predict because whoever I predict will probably bin it. But you guys can predict in the chat. Come on, let us know. Who do you think is going to win this one? Because if I have been asked to pick a winner, I literally don't know at this point.
I said Yossi on the set of hards, and then the safety car came out, and he's actually lost the position to Marlon in the pit lane, which I don't think was picked up. Marlon's actually jumped ahead of Yossi in the pit lane. Aurelian, I think, has lost a position as well to Jerry Van Bussel in that pit stop procedure as well. But what we are going to get, 2 laps all the way to the checkered flag, and this is now going to be make or break for these drivers. This is possibly the most tense final 2 laps you will get all season. Pascal saying in the chat, Keane should have stayed outside. He should have. He's there in P9, but to be fair, at least he's picking up points in this race and not enjoying the sunshine or the rain, whatever is happening there in that part of the world. Jav saying is believing in Black Box. He's going all the way. He's there in P6, which is technically, without the front 2, a net P4, is that position to be in. If I'm looking right now, I'd say Ryderdal. Ryderdal's in the perfect posse, I think. He's there in P5. If they can clear Mubarak and Sam Gamer quickly, that is all going to be on them. If they can clear it quickly and with no contact, Ryderdal is the man to watch out for in this front 3. But I can't even predict this, and I'm normally pretty good with predictions.
Interesting call to go with Ryderdal, but if you think so, then what should I give you if Ryderdal wins this race? Only joking. But Morborak, we've had a 3rd different safety car leader, as it were, and it's going to be the second Aston Martin. It's not going to be Nando this time. A few people say Black Box, a few people saying Nando, and a few people saying something else. But we will know in 2 laps' time who's going to win this one. Make sure you grab your popcorn because it's going to be really intense these last couple of laps. No DRS activated, and it looks like Morborak is getting underway straight away. But Bradders is right on the back of Sound Gamer. The mediums are going to be vulnerable straight away, and Bradders wants to get a move on ASAP as he goes to the right-hand side of turn number 1 to the outside. And Sound Gamer covers off very, very nicely indeed as well. Almost a bit of contact between the 2 of them as well. Look at that. Trying to go side by side on Bradders as they head towards turn 3 and 4. Very tight chicanes coming up as well, and it's a big banking coming up as well. Not as big as what we've seen in Zandvoort, but Bradders must be very frustrated, but he can get him through this next straight. He's going to go to the right hand side. Sam covers him off to the left. Surely outside is going to be the perfect move for Bradders as we head towards the second set. Oh, Nando to the outside, but look at Nando. Nando's up to second. What a move. What a move from Nando. Now, whoever said Nando in the chat is probably going to be glad, but Bradders wants this one as well. And Nando looks like he's going to get the lead. He's going to go free wide in towards the DRS straight. Nando's got the race lead.
He has, and my God, that was freaking incredible from Nando. I will just use it like that, to the inside. I was on board with him for it as well. Absolutely orgasmically brilliant from Nando. First position, Bradders now in second. Mubarak's dropping back, but I tell you what, Ryderdal now, right on the back of these 2, in towards the final corner. Ryderdal's here to play as well. Mubarak's now dropping down the field. Sam Gamer dropping out of the points, it seems, as well. But Nando leading the way, and if he's won this race with that move, by God, he's absolutely deserving of it. Black Box side by side now with Mubarak in towards turn number 1. Looks to the inside line, gets the job done. Mubarak is dropping like a stone through water right now at this stage. Nando, though, leading the way. But the worst place you've got to be, Jess, is P1. And that's exactly what he's in right now.
Yes, but the most important corner that they passed is the final corner, but he has to do it all over again very soon. Lap 25 on 25. Nando leads, Bradders second, Ryderdal third, Black Box fourth. In my opinion, it's between these top 4 to get the win of this one. Morborak is pretty much the buffer compared to everybody else, but Keane's trying to go around the outside of Marlon. Getting in towards the start of sector 2, but Marlon covers him. It's going to be 3 wide. You don't want to be going 3 wide there, guys. There could be contact made. How on earth these guys kept it on the track, I don't know. But these drivers are definitely proving us wrong here at the moment as we're about to start the final sector. And here comes Morborak under pressure from the likes of Joe Van Bussel and the ready.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, they contact. Aurelian has lost a bit of his front wing. Not ideal from him, but Sam Gamer gets a 3-second time penalty. But let's watch the battle between Nando and Bradders then. Bradders trying to get down the inside in towards turn 27. But someone's lost it. It is Bradders who's had a bit of a spin. That is a shame. That could have been race victory for him. But Nando comes across the line. He wins in PSGL F1. Well deserved with that move. Black Box in second. Kian in third. Marlon with an impressive 4th place. And Ryder down your top 5. And I couldn't catch what was going on for the rest of the field there. Wow. What happened with not Black Box, Bradders there?
Bradders rear-locked into the final corner, went far too late on the brakes, and unfortunately for him, ended up pretty much out of contention through that final corner. It's on his own mistake. Nando came across late. He will argue to the cats come home that he got put off by that. It wasn't. It was just him purely late on the brakes. Battle of late breakers. Nando broke perfectly well into the corner. Bradders didn't. He rear-locked the rear end and then spun into the wall all by himself. But Nando, I gave a punch of the air, by the way, because with that move, he absolutely deserved that race. The F1 stream, I'll tell you what, it was more like F2 as Timon's putting out there in the chat. But I tell you what, I hope we get to see Nando's on board from that move, because that was utterly incredible and possibly one of the best moves I've ever seen in late racing.
And I was on board with someone else as he was trying to get past as well. So the cameras didn't pick it up nicely, which was a bit of a shame. But I have to say, move of the season. Definitely move of the season. And apparently, according to Dirk, he's live on Twitch. So, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to watch Nando's stream after this and find out what happened. But Nando wins. The best win I think I've ever seen in a long time. Black Box in second. Keen in third. And we've got Marlon, Ryder down, Mulbright, Jerry Van Bussel, Yossi, Marcos, and Francesco. Francesco gets another point, which he'll take in a heartbeat. Then we got Ryan O'Reilly and Sam Gamer. Bradders, very unlucky from him. No points at all, which could cost him the championship. Jensen in 15th. And then we got Vola Kongan, Tom, Max, Khalil, and Savannah, your DNFers. What does that do with the championship? Well, looking at the championship now, we thought that Bradders was going to take a comfortable lead. But with Marcos scoring points, and with Bradders not scoring points, and with Jerry Van Bussel scoring points, I don't know. We're going to have to do some maths in the background.
We will. We will definitely. I can't tag Nando, apparently, in the chat. I was going to try and get the top 3 in. I will try and do this on my Discord. Give me a second. There he is. It's just not working on my iPad for some reason. Right, I will get a message out, see if the top 3 do want to join us for interviews. But that was unbelievable. I'm absolutely sweating. It's not that hot here in my room. And I'm absolutely sweating from that race. That move from Nando, I will not live it down until the day I die, that move. It was absolutely incredible to the inside line. And it was audacious, it was ballsy. But put it this way, you need to pull it off around there at Jeddah. You need to pull off ballsy moves. That's what Nando did. Nando takes the race win and absolutely damn right deserves it.
I think the most deserving race victory I've ever seen all season. And could this be a possible championship charge for Nando? I know it might be late, but again, we'll have to wait and see as well. Also, obviously, well done to our podium sitters as well to gain great points in this championship as well. Even Pascal saying well done, Nando, as well. So good respect there as well. And yeah, it will be good to hear from our top 3 as well. Next week, though, we do head to Mexico, but we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But apart from Nando, I think you can't give driver of the day other than him, to be honest, with that move.
Definitely not. If there's anybody else, I think Marlon from P19 on the grid, Mubarak as well, scoring points, going on to that set of mediums and staying out there. Absolute ballsy in itself to try and pull off that. And both of them, 4th and 6th position, well deserved. There are going to be more stewards reports, put it this way, than what we had last week. We had 7 last week in Belgium. There's going to be more in Jeddah, possibly in the double figures, I think. But what we can't get away from is that ending. It was brilliant. And Bradders, if he didn't rear-lock, I think it could have been side by side and 1,000th of a second potentially covering the top 3. It was just unreal, the racing, and I hope that you guys, the PC guys that have been watching, you've been inspired by some of the racing that we've seen out on track, because this is PlayStation, this is what they can do, and of course, like Yana Watmia, PlayStation is the platform to bigger and better things.
Yep, you go from PlayStation to PC. And we've seen the PlayStation drivers go on to bigger and better things in the PC side as well. Jana Otmir, for example. Obviously, the likes of Mirko Soriano, Legend came from PC as well. Wilson Hughes. Loads of other people have come from PlayStation to PC. Even the pad goat Louis Welsh has come from PlayStation to PC. And he's doing quite well there as well. So hopefully, I think we are going to hear from Black Box, I believe. But I'm not sure if we're going to hear for the other two as well. Black Box, he did very well to keep the car in the straight line. I probably miscounted how many saves he's made in that race.
He made a lot. I think, to be fair, everyone made a lot of saves in that race. It just comes to show the tight nature of the circuit, tight nature of the racing around there as well, and everyone really being on tenterhooks in terms of their setups. These guys are not professionals, by the way. We do it just for the fun of it, just for the living, but my word, did we live in that race. And I think phenomenal effort from the top three, phenomenal effort from everyone as well that avoided all of that melee, all of that contact, absolutely deserving of a result, I think, in that race. Of course, we're going to get stewards reports. We're going to bring you up to date next week. Jess, however, you're not here next week, I believe, so you're going to be leaving me in the capable hands of being lead commentator for the week.
Yes, you will be. Yes, I'm going to be on holiday on Monday. Well, I'll be travelling on Monday, coming back. I literally will only have a few hours to spare on the 25th of September before I have to commentate again. So I'm going to have to prepare for the next stream before I go on holiday. And I won't even know what track it is. So it's the Mystery Track Grand Prix. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to say the least. Black Box, by the way, James is waiting for an interview. So I will get the interview screen up. There we go.
There we go, and I will do my job and drag him into the right comms box. There he is. We can, hopefully now, speak to the man who finished there in P2. We believe in him. It is Mr. BSR Black Box, and Black Box in the end. P2 out on track. Phenomenal effort from you. Talk us through it, because that race was absolutely mad.
Yeah, that race was absolutely crazy. James, it's been a while. I haven't been on the podium for a while, but yeah, I'm glad to be here. I believed, and it worked again. Believe in Black Box, as you said at the start, it was absolute carnage, man. It was just a matter of survival, and I made a few mistakes. You might have seen I ran wide a few times. That's because I've been away on holiday. I'm a bit rusty. I had my cousin's wedding to go to, so I was there for 2 weeks. I'm a bit rusty, but we're back on the podium, and that's what that matters.
That is all that matters. And to be fair, I think you need to be rusty around this track coming into tonight with the level of racing that we saw there. But yeah, P2, obviously on your return to this week, from P9 on the grid as well, talk us through that qualifying session, because it was so close in qualifying, we couldn't really split it in terms of who could be getting the podium in the race.
Yeah, the qualifying was really, really important, but my lap was terrible. If I'm honest, my lap was really, really bad, not up to PSR standards. It was a bit embarrassing, but we made it happen in the race, and that's all that matters. The margins are so small between us drivers at the top. We're the best in the world, and of course the gaps are going to be really small. But I mean, fair play to Sam. Sam did a really, really good lap, and yeah, GG to him. But it was a matter of strategy in this race and safety cars and trying to avoid other cars. So yeah, this is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. And to be honest, I think in terms of the racing that we saw late on, you were pretty much at the forefront of that carnage with Bradders just rear locking, I think, into the final corner. What happened with that from your perspective? Was it just a pure rear lock from Bradders and then ending up picking up the pieces and getting second?
Well, I'm going to let you into something here, James. I think there was a bit of moving under braking from a certain someone in front. That may or may not cause a penalty, and I could therefore win the race. But there was a bit of something dodgy going on up front, and yeah, I'm glad I just avoided it, to be honest. I was far enough away to be able to avoid it and close enough to pick up the pieces and what could be a potential win. And for me, yeah, I haven't actually won in this season, I don't think, or in PSGL F1 at all. I mean, they told me I was slower than the F2 guys, and I proved them wrong there, proved them wrong in challenges, and I'm proving them wrong here as well. My next target is to go into single-seater racing as well, wearing my Pakistani flag, the only driver to do it. And that's, you know what, people don't believe in me, but I believe in myself, and that's all that matters.
It is. I like the self-belief as well. If you can achieve anything, it would be to do single-seater racing. We've seen it with Lucas Blakely, of course, in GB4 this season, doing a phenomenal job there, of course, qualifying, getting into the Formula Fords as well. Brendan
He
Lee
won.
doing the Formula Fords in the past. He won. Yeah, it
Well,
just comes to
Lucas
show,
Blakely
I
won,
think.
not Brendan Lee, but Brendan Lee still had some single-seater experience.
But both of
He
those
did.
two people you've just mentioned there don't have the they don't have the mindset that I do. The skill, the talent that I will bring to the table is different. It's different gravy. It's just no. I don't mean it in like a cocky way, but
No,
like in
I
general,
know you
it's
don't. I love that attitude, that your mindset that you could achieve anything. It's just brilliant.
exactly that's my. I want to be the first ever Pakistani racing driver, and that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, which would be a phenomenal achievement. And obviously, from the sim racing world, it can lead you to bigger and better things. And hopefully, that can be achieved as well. Jess, any questions?
Yes, of course. Obviously, I'll say this to the other drivers as well. Mexico is the track next week. Do you get on well with that track, and what could be your goals for that one? Because technically, you're still in the fight for those all-important points for maybe third or second, or even Drivers' Championship. So what are you going to do to try and get in a similar position than you were tonight?
I feel like Mexico is, you know what? Everyone has a chance there. You have a racer's chance. By racer's chance, what I mean there's like a puncher's chance. You could start last, crashes happen, like we saw today. Safety car came out at the right time for me and some other guys. Other guys missed the pit lane. Anything can happen. My pace is always going to be good at every track, but even if I don't have the edge on everyone else, I still have that racer's chance.
That's my questions, James.
That's all from me as well. Yeah, Black Box, congratulations on the P2. You referenced that moving under braking. I certainly said that in commentary as well. So maybe even a P1. Congratulations, regardless, on the podium. Go and enjoy even.
Thank you so much. You too, guys.
You are very welcome indeed. We did have Nando, I spied as well in the
Let me
waiting
try and
room.
get him.
I'm just gonna drop him a message as well, saying, you can drop a message and say that. But yeah, fantastic to hear from Blackbox. Always good to hear his mindset and his way of things, I think, as well, in terms of how he prepares for races and how he prepares to really excel himself. And it's really good. Of course, he was there in terms of Pro Exhibition. We will get Nando in right now as well. But in terms of his preparation, I think preparation is really key for this race, and it's so important, I think, to deliver a good performance, and that's exactly what we've seen there with Black Box as well. But we can go to the man who finished in P1, and it's the second time I've done this in a week. It is Mr. OP Nando, and Nando, let's just talk about that move first and foremost. That was incredible.
Wow, hello everyone again. Second time in 1 week. That's yeah. Yeah, amazing. Well, yeah, go ahead.
You're
I was
speechless,
going to say, I get the sense
aren't
you're
you?
a bit speechless.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a bit. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for this today. Honestly, I just did 2 hours of training before. Yeah, the quali lap was okay. I mean, the second row, which was good before. And yeah, I don't know if I was lucky, but when the second safety car came out, I was like, there is gonna be a safety car for sure. And I just, I don't know if we can say that, but I just pre-shot the safety car and I came in the pits before the 4 guys in front when I was in P5. And clearly that's the thing, yeah, it permits me to move into P1, into the lead of the race. And it was, yeah, a hard fight against brothers. So yeah, shame at the end because yeah, I'm sorry for him, but yeah, I was on the inside, and yeah, for me there is nothing I can say. I was on the inside, I defend the inside, so that's it. But yeah, the double overtake was yeah, amazing.
I saw that from my perspective. I don't think it was caught on Jess's and on the streams, unfortunately. But from my perspective, that will forever live in my memory, and I'll take that to my grave as one of the best overtakes I've seen in Saudi Arabia, and maybe even ever in league racing. So congratulations on that. You definitely get 10 out of 10, maybe even 1,000 out of 10 for that as well. But talk us through that race, because it was a pretty mad race. You started on that second row of the grid, of course. what was your preparation coming in tonight? Was it anything much? Was it just, oh, I'll do a few laps on TT?
I'm doing some laps in TT before, just to learn the track again and be well prepared for sessions. And yeah, for tonight I wasn't expecting nothing. You know, I was just trying to do my best as usual. And yeah, Jeddah is a track that I like for a lot of days, months. So I know that I'm quick here, but I know drivers like Marcados or Kian are very quick, for example, in quali. So I know that I can't take a pole position on this track, or at the moment I can't. But I know that in the race, with the racecraft and etc., there is maybe an opportunity. And yeah, clearly today it works. I have a bit of luck this week, so yeah, I'm speechless. Honestly, I'm just very proud and very happy.
Yeah, I think you've got to be on the edge, I think, around Jeddah, especially a track like that where it's so tricky. One mistake could literally kill somebody's race. That's what we saw multiple times, I think, in this race here. But you've got to take advantage of everything, and that's exactly what you did, I've got to be honest, in that race as well. Jess, any questions?
I will ask the same question as I asked Black Box. Mexico next week, another track where it can have great overtakes and possibly similar situations to what we saw in Jeddah. How are you feeling about that track?
Well, Mexico is a difficult track. Firstly, I didn't practice at all for this track. I never drove on this game on Mexico. So it will be interesting just to check what is possible and what is not possible. Yeah, at the moment, I really don't know. In the previous games, it was a pretty good track for me. So I hope, this year it's gonna be the same. So yeah, again, we will see.
Good to have that open mindset about Mexico, I have to say. Best of luck going into next week. Maybe another win on the horizon, but that move will be in my memory as well, even though I only caught the glimpse of it. But congratulations to Nando, our provisional race winner for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Thanks.
Right then, I think we won't have anybody else for interviews. I don't think Kian is waiting for us, unfortunately. I believe he's got some stuff to do, but Kian, a very impressive finish for him. But we are going to wrap it there. And James, any final thoughts?
Well, Nando, that was a fantastic move, I think, from his perspective. It was just incredible, I think, in terms of the racing. It was really hard fought. It's what you expect Jeddah, a race to be around Jeddah. It was absolutely hell for leather. Yes, there was contact. Yes, there was driving standards everywhere. But that's what you come to expect around a track like Jeddah. I'm not going to defend the indefensible and some of the mistakes and some of the moves, but the stewards reports will speak to everything, and I can report in terms of the stewards, certainly. Jerry has been reported by Tom, and Jensen has been reported for penalty removal, which apparently got him 20 seconds at the end of the race for ignoring the yellow flag.
Oh, yeah, I caught that on stream, actually, where he got the penalty anyway. So I think that potentially will get removed as well. But, yeah, we're going to Mexico next week as well. I always love Mexico, but unfortunately I'm not going to be here as well. Commentator, I'll be joining James Head next week, to be confirmed. Haven't decided that yet, but I think there could be a few contenders. But yeah, James, you're definitely going to be there next week in PSF1. What can you expect from Mexico?
Well, I hope another Aston Martin win with this t-shirt that I'm wearing, but I'm not going to really big up myself in terms of that. What I'm expecting, honestly, is just an improvement in the racing that we've seen from Jeddah. Yes, we didn't have a perfect race here tonight. No race is going to be 100% perfect. But what I'm expecting, as me jumping into your seat for the week, is fair play, hard, clean racing. If we get anything above and beyond that, it's a win-win.
That, I think, is some good expectations. So if you want to join the PSF1 next week, 8 PM UK time, I'll definitely be watching it on my little tablet that I've got on the right-hand side of me, that's for sure, if I don't get tired from travelling on Monday evening, Monday during the day, actually. But, yeah, thank you very much for watching for the final time. Check out our sponsors, GT Mega, 5% off all GT Mega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. Check the link in the description or click the command as well, !GT Mega. Make sure you check us out on our socials at PremierSimGL on Twitter and on Instagram. Like us, well, subscribe to us on YouTube. Also like us on Discord as well. Follow us there. Follow us on our social medias. Links is down below. And make sure you check out Wednesday's Mexican Grand Prix with, I believe, Jack's final commentary on PCF1 for a little while whilst he goes and does his Masters. So best of luck to him on that one. He'll be joined by George Morgan as usual. Have a good evening. Jade will see you next week. I will see you at the Mystery Grand Prix at 2 weeks' time. But until then, stay safe, have a good evening, and see you soon for the Mexico Grand Prix. Take care. Bye-bye.
GeForce desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside, but here he's through on the left hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.